Hello, everybody. Yes, I know. It feels like it's going to rain again, and my hair is acting all stupid. It's the night before election day in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia. I think those are the only ones. And I work the elections. I have to be leaving the house. They're supposed to be picking me up, the Uber, at like 4:35 or something in the morning. And I want to do a quick vacuum and stuff before I go to sleep tonight. But this is a last minute plea to vote Democrat, people. And I really don't care what you're registered as. You can vote for anyone. You can be registered as an independent and be voting for anybody. You can be registered as a Republican and vote for a Democrat. No one's going to know except you. I am a little concerned because where I live in Jersey, it's like 30 minutes from like Bedminster, or 30 minutes. 35. There's a lot of rabid Republican behavior here. And we already have somebody who causes a commotion every time he votes. But he does it on purpose. But I'm not sure. I'm not in Passaic County. That's where they said they were sending their people to us into Virginia, into New Jersey. They want New Jersey red. I'm going to try to explain just one big thing on why them protecting pedophiles by sending anybody on vacation, and that is what it's about. Because he doesn't want to be in session, because then he has absolutely no excuse for swearing in Alina Grijalva from Arizona, which would be the last signature they need. And they haven't gotten any Republicans to flip back, and they don't want to open it because they know that'll force a ruling, and courts cannot. We know if it was given up to them, they know what it would look like if they squashed the Epstein stuff. This country, even the MAGA, would rise up. But there's a reason, not just because of his policies. Let's just pretend I'm somebody who I'm somebody who kind of likes Trump. But she's one of the 23.2, I think it is, percent, or 4. 23% of American women have been sexually assaulted and or raped. That is a quarter of us American women. I'm 62. And I was like 20, maybe 21, maybe. When I was raped, I wound up pregnant from it. First, people think Republicans say, it's very easy just to have an abortion, don't kill a kid. It is not. It is not easy to make the decision. And it's not easy to go through. A lot of us never got a voice, never got justice. Like all those children in Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile trafficking ring. And now we find out Epstein was also in billions of dollars of laundering. Billions laundered through his enterprises, as well as pedophilia and human trafficking and children trafficking. The first time he got in president, we were triggered, but he was just a misogynistic, racist, bigoted bastard, but he wasn't mocking the fact that a rapist got off of any sentence. That's a lot different. This term, everything we have proof now of what he did, we didn't then. Do you think any of us who have been sexually assaulted, sexually raped, would like to have our rapist in our lives see him, especially if he was living it up and stealing from people and getting away with it and just doing it all in public? I said something to a fellow gentleman I was talking to. We got to talking a couple hours ago. And I said, you don't understand what it's like for a quarter of the American women that have been sexually assaulted and raped. What it's like to watch the person who did it not only not pay for it, but he's off having the best time anybody can have in their lives, while we get 24/7 PTSD. And he laughs at us. If he laughs at everything he said to E. Jean Carroll, he said to every person that's ever been raped. It was like ours. The gaslighting. And I think that is abusive of the government to allow somebody who triggers a quarter of your fucking population into PTSD for sexual abusiveness, how they can be allowed to be in a position that we're supposed to fucking respect and trust. I said to him, and I could see he was really having a hard time understanding it. I said, what a lot of you don't know, that if you haven't had it happen to yourself or anybody you know that has talked to you about what it feels like, even years later. I said, let me ask you a question. How would you feel if somebody kidnapped, raped, and murdered a child of yours, and then the person who gets elected as president of your country is somebody who has been proven that he kidnapped and murdered and raped your child? Would you find it acceptable that you have to have them as your leader? And as I was saying it, I could see it hit. I said, do you understand what it feels like for us to have a rapist not only in charge of our country, not only hurting all of us and being misogynistic, but mocking and living it up? While not only they make us suffer, but 23% of us are suffering over that too, as the added insult. How would you feel as a citizen if that happened to your child and the person that did it was the president? would you just not hate the person? He goes, no, I'd have a hard time. I get what you're saying. I said, it makes sense now, don't you? You get it. And he looked shaken a little bit. Because he had never been brought to that space that a lot of us keep being reminded of. And yeah, I lost it in the store too. But I also told him that people have become so disconnected. It becomes uncomfortable when somebody shows any kind of emotion other than happiness or anger. Those are the only acceptable social emotions, it seems, that are allowed. Otherwise, you're mocked as a wuss or a puss or anything else. When in reality, we started talking because we were passing each other, and I was kind of talking to myself. I'm like, yes, I definitely need paper towel. And as I walked past, he kind of made a, and I was like, are you laughing because I'm talking to myself? He goes, no. I said, you were, but you were laughing because you do too. He goes, I do. And that's how we started talking. I said, it's so messed up that people make it sound like talking to yourself like they know. Everybody talks to themselves at times. Everybody argues with themselves in their heads. Everybody does. Stop making it seem like, oh, that's a weird person. Remember years, decades ago, Lily Tomlin made a joke. And she said, I'm walking down the streets of New York City. She says, and there's so many people going by. They're like pretty much talking. There's talking, but there's nobody there. They don't have an ear thing in. They're kind of like talking to themselves. And she said, wouldn't it be wonderful if we had an organization that could pair people up that talk to themselves and they could walk to the destinations together so it looks like they're having a conversation and people don't think they're weird. And even back then, much younger person, I thought to myself, why does talking to yourself to try to figure something out, why does that have to be made to look like it's not normal? Why does it have to look like you have to be having somebody next to you to be talking? That's not right. And I said, yeah, because we all do it. He goes, I talk to myself. I said, do you argue with yourself sometimes in your head? He goes, I do. See? I said, why don't people just accept and admit it and stop acting like anybody that shows any kind of emotion or grief or sorrow, that everybody gets all uncomfortable about it. Like when I was crying, you were like, I'm sorry. I was like, I know you were sorry because, like, for me being triggered. But I got over the uncomfortableness of expressing in public because I can't complain that people have stopped doing that. And complain about it, and I'm not practicing when I preach. And so I had to make myself be comfortable with that in public. Because I can't say other people need to let each other in a little bit. And I do get the fact of people are so sneaky. It's hard. But there's a reason why a lot of people and a lot of women despise every person in the administration because they had chosen to allow the very worst of their human nature to take the forefront and steer themselves by that persona, and not the altruistic giving a fuck about each other part of you. I don't even know if some of y'all even have that. But there's a reason besides all the racism and bigotry and misogyny and greed and narcissism and just them hating people. Besides all of that, to despise these. But everybody on the administration is covering up. And those of us, 1/4 of us, a lot of us never got justice, and they're still roaming this country today. There's a reason why they're unfit. And it's not just because, oh, I'm a Democrat and they're a Republican. They can't tell you stories like this about people like us that did so much emotional damage to them, because we don't. But there's a lot of us progressive liberal people who could tell a lot of stories about the racism, about the bigotry, just because of your color, skin, or if you have a vagina or a penis. And even if you're a white male and you're a heterosexual, you know, it's like if you're from a poor family, yeah, you don't cut it. So even being a straight white male doesn't necessarily get you in with these fucking people. I mean, at least with racists that are just racist or just misogynist or you know what I mean? It's just one group they're against, but it's like they're against everybody except rich, white, like family rich, generation rich, white, heterosexual people. Preferably the white male ones. And the females, if you can't have babies, then you just do the scrubbing. Which is what I'd be doing. And it is not fair to ask 1/4 of a population, or tell 1/4 of a population, that for the next 4 years at the very least, somebody who's a repeat rapist who has never really gotten complete justice is going to be making every freaking law and rule and that you have to live under. The person who took one of the most personal things other than your life away from you, those kind of people are getting rewarded for what they did to all of us. And we're supposed to accept it and support it. I got your support this. Maybe some of my hostility is explained. Not that I had to own it to you. But if anybody sees this in the states that are voting tomorrow, and it makes them think about why are we so, and why are there so many women out there screaming on the streets, this is why. Is it fair to ask or to just announce to 1/4 of the population, a 1/4 of the women in this country, you're just going to have to deal with 24/7 PTSD for at least 4 years? Fuck it. Oh, and we're taking your therapy away too. Oh, you don't expect a Lorena Bobbitt thing to happen in the White House? I would never do something like that, but I could see somebody that just doesn't have any fucks left to give and just wants to take one of those fucking slimy bastards out where they belong. And if you won't put him in jail, somebody is going to put him in the ground eventually. And that's not a threat. That's just seeing what's happening. Oh, and now in Jersey, the little maggots are so fucking desperate because they know that we're not even waiting for the midterms next year. These off ones are already looking like GOP is going to fucking nosedive to hell and back. In Jersey, it does so far. And that's pissing them off so much that our overpasses apparently all over Jersey, people are calling, Trumpers are calling and saying, oh, they've got a rifle on, somebody's got a rifle on the bridge, or shit like they're throwing rocks, or, yeah, and it's not just one or two places apparently. What all they're doing is the overpass message. The cops come by and they're like, well, with the gun one, you have to send helicopters, and they were like, stop, everybody on the bridge, move, free, it was like, and it's just because those are Trumpers. Now, that is not playing fair. We're having a legitimate, election campaigning for them. You're not allowed to do that. And I'd like to see every single one of them that gets called in if they can nail them for false reports. Because the cops go in because that's what they were told. You have to take it serious. And traumatizing us, this is what they want. They wouldn't be doing that if they weren't scared about tomorrow and the results. So, when you vote tomorrow, if you haven't voted yet and you're voting tomorrow, think about all the people out here, and there are men too, that are rape victims that never got a voice. And y'all are just, you'd all give him a crown if you could. And he's a rapist and a pedophile. And definitely a criminal. He's stolen funds from people just like he's doing now in the government, taking our SNAP away. There is a built-in safety net. Explain to me why Congress pays themselves, 535 people in Congress have been not working, for like 31, 32 days now. Almost $8 million. Was $524,000 every month is what Congress salaries are. $525, something like that, $1,000, $250,000 every month for 535 people. In this 30 days, and it's been more than that, we've paid just under $8 million now for them to be doing absolutely nothing. They get $8 million for doing fucking nothing for over a month, and yet they won't let us fucking have our SNAP. They made sure their built-in safety net was fully operational, and they also made sure, because the SNAP benefits have the same built-in safety net. If they're getting full pay, then SNAP should be getting full. The same safety net. Explain to us why we're wondering what's going to happen. And they got paid $8 million in 1 month between all of them. And they didn't do one fucking thing for us. They didn't work for we the people. And they still got $8 million. Think about that when you vote tomorrow. And go down to the Democratic section and mark your cards. Because this is what the Republicans are doing. We tried to warn you what they were saying. We were listening. We were watching those websites that you weren't looking at. You didn't even know about. We've been listening to what they were saying, and we knew they were going to do these things. And we also tried to tell you. The ones of you who voted for Republican last time, you fucked up. Admit it. And vote Democrat this time. Because how much more are they going to do? This is what they've done in just 9 months. When you vote tomorrow in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, remember what I told you. Why are these people in power? We can remove them. We gave them the chance. They were voted in. They fucked up and they lied. Out you go. We need to do this, America. This is not about Democrat or Republic. This is about good and evil. And I'm not talking religion. I'm talking civil human beings against greedy fucking narcissists who don't give a fuck who dies. They don't care if I am killed by their policies. And they don't care if you are killed by their policies or your children. They don't care. Don't keep voting for the ones who are fucking you over and not even giving you dinner when they bend you over. And that's literally what they're doing. They're fucking us and didn't even buy us dinner. Think about all of this when you're going to that voting booth tomorrow, if you haven't already voted. Think long and think hard while you're on that line. If you're going to keep voting stupidly, or if you're going to start giving a fuck, because guess what? According to statistics, somebody you know and somebody you fucking love is going to be sexually assaulted and raped. It is guaranteed somebody that you care about will experience this somewhere in your lifetime. I'll bet when that happens, you'd feel a lot differently. And you'll think, oh, that's what Judi was talking about. Yeah, that's what Judi was talking about. Sorry. Yeah, you all know because of this administration, I've lost my specialized therapy like 4 months ago. And I need to get some of this anger out. Because at 5 o'clock, by 5 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, I'm going to have to spend the next 16 hours. Hello, sir. Oh, sir, sure thing, ma'am. I can help you. Even if I hear somebody say something positive about Trump or something like, hope Trump wins or something, I'm like, I have to be completely unbiased, no politics spoken of, and divert that. You can't talk about anything online in the polling place. If you're not ready and you need to discuss it between the two of you before you vote, you need to go outside. You can't do it in here. And you can't say sometimes what you want to say. Like, I can tell you who to vote for. Republicans are protecting rapists and pedophiles, and Democrats aren't. Right now, that's what you need to know. Because if you're going to let rapists and pedophiles and racists, misogynists be in the highest positions of government, then you're a fucked up country. You are. And we are. And I really wish I could make the claim of the shit has to stop because it's on both sides of the aisle and everybody's biased and it's all fucked up and you're all doing it. but we're not all doing it. The Republicans are the liars. And the Republicans are the pedophiles. And the rapists, too. Do the right thing tomorrow when you vote, please.